Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome back. If you are a returning supporter, I want to say thank you for joining me tonight for this evening's Nurturing Conversation podcast. Tonight's topic is release yourself. One moment, please. Tonight's topic is release yourself. I'm going to go ahead and get my disclaimers out of the way and then we will begin tonight's conversation. I do not tolerate disrespect that is in any way, shape, form, or fashion towards me, towards anyone that appears on the screen, towards anyone that appears in the chat. We are officially, hold on, I should have wrote this down before I actually came live, but just give me 1 minute. Just 1 minute. I said I was going to write it down, but I didn't. But give me 1 minute. There we go. We are officially 13 days away from a brand new year. 13. If in the past 2 years you haven't figured out your life, you haven't figured out that negativity doesn't get you far, I would normally say don't come here, but I want you to come here. I want you to come here and I want you to free yourself. I want you to release yourself because in the next 13 days, that's all we got in 2022. I want you to be able to change your mind, change your heart, change your actions. I want you to be able to see life differently. Um, I want you to know that there are other alternatives to negativity. There will be curse words. There will be possibly tears. No, there's going to be tears. There will be, or my opinions are my opinions, and your opinions are your opinions. We are here to have a healthy conversation, a nurturing conversation about topics that we all possibly have experienced. I would say we all have experienced at some point. I'm gonna say that we've all have experienced at some point. Um, and we are adults. We should be adult enough to have a conversation. We should be able to understand each other's perspective and move on from there. I am not a mental health professional. I have no doctorate, no medical degree of any kind. I am just one woman willing to share my personal experiences to let you know two things. One, you are not alone. I know we go through situations in life and we feel like nobody else in this great big old world has had the same experiences as us. However, that is not the case. A lot of people have had some of the same exact experiences as you. They're just not able to talk about them. But tonight we're talking about release yourself. And number two, you can overcome anything that life presents you with. Anything. I don't care what it is, you can overcome it. Um, what is my other? I think that's it. Disrespect, blah, blah, blah. Again, no disrespect. We're just here to have it's a safe space. It's a safe space. We're here to have a healthy, nurturing conversation about releasing yourself. I will talk about therapy throughout the conversation. I know it might make a lot of people uncomfortable. However, I feel that if more people decided to take the opportunity to go to therapy and give it an actual chance, they will find balance within their life. Life is all about balance. Whatever you do, there should be a balance in it. Working, resting, playing, whatever you do, there should be a balance. You can't give too much to one thing because then your life will be balanced. That's all I'm talking about. That's all for the disclaimers. If I have more, or 2023, I will have more. It's gonna be different. Just know that much. Well, tonight's conversation is release yourself. As you may or may not know, I'm currently on a journey of healing and self discovery. One of the best decisions I have ever made in my life. And being 42 years old, I've made a lot of decisions. Um, Healing myself from the inside. That's what it's all about. The journey of healing and self discovery is about healing myself from the inside, healing the younger me so that the more adult, older, seasoned me can move through life not in a fearful space, not in a protective. I mean, of course, I'm gonna be protective, but not in a space where I feel like I have to protect myself from any and everything. But to just be more fearless. Ooh, to be more fearless. That's that's the objective for the rest of my life. Um, so many of these topics that I come up with, or I have, or will be presenting to you, are things that I've experienced along my journey. And many of them are topics that people will not talk about publicly. So I'm picking up the arms and taking on the challenge of talking about taboo topics, talking about topics that people don't want to touch because some people feel like you know, that's not really an issue, but we're here to talk about it because ultimately, my ultimate like hopes, dreams, vision, aspirations is for everybody to be happy, feel loved, and to be whole. That's my ultimate. Like whatever I could do. That's why I say I want to be light, love, and positivity because I want to be able to help people whenever, wherever they are in their journey, wherever. If you're starting, middle, almost at the end, I want to be able to help you wherever you are in your journey. Tonight's topic is about release yourself. I felt like, it's 13 days before a brand new year. We have been in a global fucking pandemic for 2 years. And I don't know about you, but it has definitely caused me to look at my life through a different lens. Especially all of the happenings of this year has definitely taught me how to look at life through a different lens. And it's the holiday times and it's a real emotional time. I want to say I'll just say like October, November, December is really emotional times, especially for people because it's usually family times. It's usually like holidays. Most people don't have. Most people don't have the big house, the car, the family, they don't have the relationship. They don't have the things that they envisioned that they would have at this particular time in life. And one of the things I found out for me was I had to release, right? When I was growing up, I was like, I'm gonna play in the WNBA. That was my that was my thing. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? At first, I said I was gonna be a pediatrician, and then when I got sick, I was like, fuck being a pediatrician. I'm gonna play in the WNBA. I'm just gonna do what I want to do, and that's play in the WNBA. But as the days, months, weeks, hours went on, as life went on, as I began to understand the sickness that had taken over my life, I had to release those dreams. And not only did I have to release those dreams, I had to release everything that surrounded those dreams. And it wasn't like, oh, I can't be a basketball player because to this day I still play basketball. I just don't play it on the professional level. But me releasing that opened the door for me to discover what it is that I really want to do. And the thing that I discovered that I really want to do, um, my entire life, I've always been drawn to music, education, and helping people. My entire life. That has been my entire life. And for a long while, I want to say all of my teenage, young adult years, I did not want to be a teacher. I just did not want to do it. And then one day I felt inclined to do my ancestry. And as I was doing my ancestry, I was able to go back 6 generations, like 6 generations above me. Now, don't ask me about, how it all boils down and break down because I'm still trying to figure that out. But I was able to go back to my sixth great grandfather, six up that way. And so as I began to look at it and understand it, and I came back down to me, like there was education, entrepreneurship, and music, all 6 generations. It was full, like it was up in this way. It was full with that. And many of my mother's a teacher, my grandmother was a teacher, my grandmother's mother was a teacher. Like teachers was all in my family. And I was just like, I'm not going to be no teacher. Mm-mm. That is not me. Again, I want to be a WNBA player. No, that's not me. I don't want to be a teacher. I'm just going to write songs and I'm just going to live happily ever after. That's literally what I thought. But on my 39th birthday, before I got ready to cross over into 40, I said to myself, I accepted it. I accepted the fact that I am a teacher. I'm not a teacher in the literal sense of four walls in a classroom, but I am a teacher of life. I am a teacher of experience. I had to release myself. I had to release that thing that it was that didn't want me to be, that wouldn't allow me to be a teacher. I had to release that thing. For me was fear. It was fear, not that I wasn't able to be successful as a teacher. It's just I don't want to do what I don't want to do. And once I release that, it's like I have found the greatest joy, the greatest joy. I have found the greatest joy in sharing information, resources, just talking to other people, encouraging other people, inspiring other people. I have found the greatest joy in that. I found that whenever I release the things that um, I don't want to do, we all have a little stubbornness to us. You might not want to admit it. We all have some form of stubbornness to us. And I know that my stubbornness is I don't want to do what I don't want to do. If I don't want to do it, if I don't like it, I do not like math. And as even as I say that, I laugh because I really love math. I just don't like divisions or fractions. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. I don't like it. The reality of it is we do it every day though. Every day you do a fraction. Every day you have to divide something. You have every day. But remember when you were in school, it's like, I'm never going to use it. I'm never going to use measurements. I'm never going, and every day you use it. Every day. I thought about, I thought earlier this year, I said, it's 13 days left in this year, and you're probably getting ready to prepare your vision board or have a vision party. And I thought, let's talk about release. Early this year, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna do this. I just had so many plans. And then I went down. I had the surgery, and I just couldn't do the things that I normally thought. They said 6 to 8 weeks you'll be back to yourself, and you'll be normal. And so after 6 to 8 weeks, I was literally counting down the days, days, seconds, minutes, hours. I was counting down like, okay, I'm about to be back in the swing of things, and that wasn't the case for me. So I had to release. What I thought I was going to do. I had to release that. It hurt. It made me sad. I cried. And then I began to understand that life in and of itself was telling me to release everything that I had done and just sit back and watch. I know you're probably like, why would life tell you to sit back and watch? Because I've been busting my ass since I was able to work, since I was able to talk, since I was able to get money. I've been getting money. I have a business idea. I'm going to work that business idea until something else pops in my mind. And I've been working so hard to ensure that music artists receive a financial return on their musical investments. And I just keep pushing myself. I keep pushing myself. Like anything you keep pushing and you don't take care of, it's going to fall apart. If you keep pushing yourself, you keep pushing yourself to be the best. You keep pushing yourself to get this new car, have money, to be in a relationship. If you keep pushing yourself, anything that you don't take care of is going to break down. We're talking about releasing yourself. Releasing yourself. I was literally, as I was thinking about this, I was thinking about how many people that I know that said, hey, at 25, I want to be married. I want to have 2 kids. I want to have the American dream. I want to have that by 25. And then 25 came and left, and they still was like, well, I'll get it by 30. Like, they put these restrictions on themselves. I say restrictions because if you don't get it by a certain age or a certain time, now you're feeling like a failure. You're feeling like you are unable to accomplish things. Like, you set goals and you don't accomplish it, so now you have disappointment. You're disappointed. You don't try for something new because the first thing you try for, it ended in disappointment. Not realizing that life brings us lessons to understand. I say to understand what is deep on the inside of us, because what I realized in this entire year is I was afraid to rest. I should have gave a disclaimer that during this conversation I will be releasing things, and um, that's why I said there will be tears. But I was afraid to rest. I had worked so hard my entire life, that I was afraid to rest. And life presented me with a situation where it was like you have no other choice but to rest. And at the same time, life presented me with that situation. I was still trying to do the things that I would normally do. Still trying. They're like, hey, you can't do this because you'll develop blood clots and hernias and all. I knew they told me all of these things. They gave me a whole list of things you should not do because you could cause more damage than we. And I was still trying to do because my mind was just on autopilot. I just could not rest. And then I want to say a couple of months. I'll say September. The light bulb went off. I've been saying since March that this is my season of rest. I've been saying that. And in my mind, I think rest is like, just going in there sleeping, just laying down and sleeping. But in my mind, that's what I thought. But life was like, no, we need you to rest in every area of your life. Rest. I've always been the big sister that made sure that everyone was okay. I've always been that person that made sure everybody around me was okay. And life was like, nope, rest. And in my mind, I started to think like, okay, well, people gonna feel bad because I'm not. And then I was just like, what the fuck is going on? I need to be resting. I just had a major surgery, and instead of me thinking about me, I'm doing the thing that I've always done my entire life, and that's put everybody else before me. That was the start of me releasing myself. When I began to focus more on me, my needs, my wants, my desires, the things that I envisioned, the things that I didn't like, setting boundaries. Boundaries are really important to releasing yourself. Boundaries are so important to releasing yourself. Now, I will tell you this. When you start setting boundaries, people going to start acting a little funny because they're not used to you not doing the thing that you were once doing. Hi, Fancy. They're not used to you doing that. They're used to you always answering them whenever they call. They're used to you always coming whenever they call, or hey, can I borrow? They're used to you always being that person. So when you start setting boundaries, be prepared for people to start moving differently because it's going to happen. It always happens. Um, so I began to rest. I began to rest literally, like, I would take more naps. I would just sit down. I would just, watch a movie or I do a lot of meditations, early mornings and night meditation. I would just rest. But then I was just like, I felt compelled and pushed to just do nothing. And in my life, I've always done something. Always. I've always done something. And I found it so difficult to just rest. September, I was like, I deserve a break. I deserve to do nothing but sit in my house. I don't even go. I haven't been outside since, I don't know. And you're probably like, what's going on? I'm so used to being outside, so used to driving people places or just out doing things. And this is the most I have rested, I want to say, in my entire life. I feel so rested. Like I feel rejuvenated. I feel energized. I feel like I'm ready to take on whatever life brings to me. But it took me releasing my previous self where I had to do and just realizing that I don't. Just existing. Just doing what I would normally do every day, but for me, not for everybody else, but for me. Putting myself first. You ever wake up in the morning, as soon as you open your eyes, you hopping out of bed? I'm gonna tell you what is one of the greatest things. When you open your eyes and you look up at your ceiling and you just like, today is going to be a beautiful day. Chaos could be going on around you outside of the bed, but if you just look up at the ceiling and say, today is going to be a beautiful day, I'm going to feel loved, I am going to be stress free. I'll keep looking up because I'm literally like, but today is going to be a beautiful day. And from the moment that you say that, the moment you put your feet on the ground outside of your bed, today is going to be a beautiful day. This is why I feel like it's important for people because, when I don't know if you look in the mirror when you brush your teeth, but I look in the mirror when I brush my teeth. So I have a mirror right here, I have a mirror on my door. So when I'm brushing my teeth, I'm saying today is going to be a beautiful day. I keep repeating it. It's like positive affirmations. It's like a step into manifestation. Today is going to be a beautiful day. I don't care what happens in my day. Today is going to be a beautiful day. You have to release I'm so used to just hopping out of bed and stepping on something. Now I'm cursing and now my day is just messed up because I stepped out of bed and stepped on something. Now my whole day is thrown off. You got to release that. You got to start your day with good intentions and say, today is going, look up at your ceiling. It's blank. There's nothing there. There's probably a ceiling fan or a light, but today is going to be a beautiful day. Just try it. You got 13 days. Just try it. Just take one day and be like, today is going to be a beautiful day. The moment you open your eyes, today is going to be a beautiful day. You release everything that could have taken hold of you. Maybe your feet got cold during the night and you just upset. Or maybe the person you're sleeping with took all the cover and now you over here cold and then you woke up like, oh, you took all the... Today is going to be a good day. For me, when I say things like that, when I say things like I am love, I am strong, I am safe, when I say these things every day, it's just like, I'm going to say it's like floating on clouds. Of course, I can't float on the cloud. I don't really know if I can float on clouds, but that's what it feel like. It feel like my life is in such a free space right now. There's no elephant on my chest. There's no, oh my God, what's going to happen? There's none of that. It's just like light, love, and positivity. And I started that journey 2 years ago, but I had no idea, no idea what it actually meant. I just knew that all of the things that I was holding on the inside of me, I wanted to release them. I wanted to release fear. I wanted to release doubt. I wanted to release rejection, insecurity. I wanted to release all of these things. And for me, it took going on the inside of me and getting it at the root to understand why it was there in the first place. When you uproot something, right? You take it where like a tree and it gets rooted in the ground. That means it like it establishes itself. It like it solidifies the foundation of as it's growing up, it grows out. I had things from my childhood. Things you ever experienced something like, oh, that didn't affect me. It didn't affect me. You ever said this? It didn't affect me. In reality, things do affect us, but we are so focused on our what's in the front of us, we don't pay attention to what's on the side or behind us. Or I can't speak for you, so I'll say I wasn't paying attention for what's um in front or on the side or behind me. I wasn't paying attention. Stuff happened to me when I was younger. I was like, oh, it means nothing. I'm grown now. I'm grown now, so of course it's not affecting me. When in reality, it was affecting me. I shared throughout this year many times, and I realized the more that I talk about it, the better I feel. So I shared often during this year how I experienced a really bad breakup. And now you're probably like, why are you talking about that? Because I've never said that it was a really bad breakup. I was just like, oh yeah, I broke up. And I just had a breakup. No, it was a really bad breakup. It caused me great harm. It caused me great sadness. It caused me a lot of pain. And the thing that I realized about my life, I can't speak for you. The thing that I realized about my life is if I don't acknowledge the thing for what it is, it grows and it festers. And I'm not doing that anymore. I told myself 2 years ago, I'm not holding on to anything. If and anytime a situation happened, right then and there, I'm going to deal with it. You ever have a situation between you and a friend? There was like a miscommunication or something, and you're just like, oh, well, I'll let her cool down, or I'll cool down, and then we'll deal with it. I get it. But at the same time, if you two like breathe, you come together and you say, listen, this friendship or this whatever means a lot to me, and I need to talk to you about this. I said to myself, I'm not gonna go to sleep. I'm not gonna, okay, we had a disagreement, and I'm gonna go to sleep or move on, because now it's like I don't even want to talk about that no more. What happened is what happened, and I'm moving on, and I'm gonna leave you where it is. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that. I want to make sure that all is well with me as I'm moving on, moving forward in my life. I want to make sure that all is well. Situations be happening to us, and we throw it in the back of our mind, and we be like, oh, I'll get to it one day. And then from that root of that situation, it starts to take root within us. And now it's like we having conversation with other people, or we're at work and someone does something, we're triggered by something, and it's not that individual that triggers, it's not that individual that caused us to be like that. It's the situation that we threw in the back of our mind that triggers us, and now we're going off on this new person, or we're going off on our coworkers, when in reality we should have had that conversation. We are going into Christmas, and I just began to think about how many people like who don't have families, or how many people who have like set a boundary with their family, that they're not like, hey, you guys haven't treated me good, or you haven't been great to me, and I'm not going to subject myself to that anymore. And I think about people like that. I think about myself. I've done that before too. I've not went to family engagements. I've not um sorry, y'all. I've not participated in things, especially like, because I'm not one of those people like, okay, we have a disagreement, and then time passes, and then it's like, oh, everything is new. No, I need to talk about it because I'm feeling some kind of way. I'm pretty sure you're not feeling some kind of way, but I need to release this from me, and I can't just go on like things never happened. I'm not doing that anymore in my life. Going to act like um I'm not going to act like, oh, you didn't disrespect me, so I'm going to be cool. Like, so that's why I had to say, I experienced a really bad breakup. During this period of rest, I really had to be like, hey, this is what actually happened. Because I don't know if we like are taught, or if we just learn by watching situations around us. It's like, yeah, you break up, you shit end every day. You ever heard somebody's like, people come in your life for a season, people come in your life for a lifetime? Like they have all these different analogies, right? But the reality of it is sometimes people come into your life, and people, because we are so used to like moving on to the next thing, we don't fight for shit. We don't fight for shit. We can see that there is a raise at our job, and we know that we fit that qualification. We ain't gonna fight for that shit, because why? We be so complacent with long as we got our food, clothing, and shelter, we good. Got a little money in our pocket, got somebody loving on us every night. We good. That's not me. I want more from life than just that. I want to be able to be like, you know what? I had a disagreement with this person. We were adult enough to come and talk and resolve that disagreement. And I'm not just talking about with my ex. I'm talking about like anybody in my life. Like, I've been able to go into situations where I knew a situation between me and a person, it affected me in a way that I didn't understand how it affected me until I went and I talked to them. Same thing for my parents. I didn't understand. I knew that I felt abandoned and rejected by them, and I didn't understand how that affected my everyday life until I experienced a really bad breakup. It was at that moment that I understood how rejection and abandonment played a huge role in the things that I accepted in my life. And I'm saying that because maybe you feel abandoned, or maybe you felt rejected, or maybe you don't feel worthy enough of anybody to love you. The reality is, you are worthy of love. And I was just basing my abandonment and rejection off one experience. Just one. It wasn't a series for me. It was just one. I'm like, are you like the type of person where it's like, oh, you fucked me over one time and I'm out. It's a no for me. For me, here's why I had this conversation with the deity, whichever one you serve. I was like, I wish I wasn't such a loving, kind, caring person. Like, I wish I didn't have a conscience. Like, I wish I wasn't someone who cared. Like, you ever see somebody just cut somebody out and seem like their day just goes even better after they do that? Are you the type of person that can cut somebody out and your day seems to get better? Like, I be wishing like I can cuss somebody out, or I wish that I could just say the things that are in my mind, but I know that I can't because I'm going to be thinking about how hurtful how I would feel if somebody said those things to me. Whenever I get ready to say or do, even when I get ready to come on this podcast, I always feel like, what do I want someone to say to me? I want somebody to tell me to release it. It's 13 days before a new year. I want somebody to tell me, hey, if this situation is not brought you joy, peace, happiness, if you don't feel love in this situation, it is important for you to release it. Yeah, you may be alone. Yeah, you may not have. But in the grand scheme of things, you will be happier. You've been holding on the fact that your mother used to beat you, just beat you for random things. You've been holding on to that. Now you and your mother, you have children, and your mother is a grandmother, and you don't even allow your children to see your mother. I get it. I understand. But there is something that needs to be healed between there. I was thinking, I was like, how many people was like, I'm never going to treat my kids like my mother treated us. I'm never going to do. And then they're so busy not trying to be like their parents, but they're actually becoming really sucky parents. At least I'm not as bad as my mother, but you're still a sucky parent. And I'm saying this as someone who doesn't have kids, but I see a lot of sucky parents. And they always hit me with, at least I'm not as bad as my parents. But the reality of it is kids, people need love. People not only need love, they want love. And at this juncture in life, people are finding love in some of the most ridiculous places. And I don't mean ridiculous like, I mean like places you wouldn't even think that people will find love. They're finding love there. It's the world is in so much. They're looking for so much, and they're finding it in people that they should not find it in. And I'm definitely talking about adults and kids, predators, pedophiles. I'm talking about them. I'm talking about people who who seek out other people. People who know that you are struggling with your looks, or people who know that you are struggling with just your overall self-esteem, and they find you out. And you feel like, oh, it's love. Somebody is finally loving me. Somebody is finally treating me like I deserve to be treated. In all actuality, they're only looking out for their best interests. Today, I want you to release that. I want you to release insecurity. I want you to release fear. I want you to release, I'm in this relationship because we've been together for so long and I don't know life without you. I want you to release, I've been at this job for 20 years and I know there is a management, a supervisor position, but I'm afraid to take on that because that would mean more work, or maybe that would mean that I would have to get out of my comfortability of just being an employee and actually have to step up another level. Release that. Release fear, release insecurity. How do I release it? You stop doing it. Here's what I say. For me, I always knew my entire life, I always knew that I was called to greater, bigger things. I always knew that. However, a part of me shut myself, turned my light down, because I was more concerned with how the people around me was going to respond to the things that happened for me. I know you're probably like, what does that mean? Like you ever be good at something, right? You're really good at something. And then you're doing, not trying, you're doing the things that you're good at. And then you start hearing things from the people you're around. Or you ever heard this before? Oh, you think you better than us. I think that's like the go-to saying. Like when you hear that, that should let you know that you have made it. I really feel like we should just normalize when you hear when somebody say, "Oh, you think you better," because that's when you know, like that's how you know that the people around you are being affected by you shining your light. So I want to encourage you: do not dim your light. You probably are in a situation now where it's like, I need to take a step back so I can let you listen. Do not dim your light because as someone who dimmed my light, it was kind of hard for me to turn it back up. Release it. Release. I said it this year. I've been telling everybody around me. I turn my light up. I'm shining so fucking bright. Either you gonna be a shadow, or you gonna get you some sunscreen or something and be in the light with me, or you gonna be lost over there in the darkness. That's where it is. 2 fucking years we've been in a whole global fucking pandemic, and I realized something about myself during this pandemic. I've been more fearless. I've been more confident. I've been more. The list could go on and on. I've been there in it took a global fucking pandemic, COVID, a really bad breakup for me to get this. The thing I knew that was on the inside of me the entire time, but those things lit that spark. It helped me turn that light back up. Releasing the person that I was so complacent, and just as long as I had food, clothing, and shelter and a little money in my pocket, I'm good. Releasing that, knowing that I wanted more, knowing that I wanted to score documentaries and I wanted to complete albums, I wanted to travel the world, like knowing all of that. And I'm just happy if I can go out the state. No, not for the remaining 13 days and not for the rest of my life. I'm not living like that no more. I'm releasing everything. This year, I said I'm going to release the fear that I had of being successful. I'm going to release the fear of being out of my comfort zone or just trying new things. I was going to release that. And every day since I said that, I've tried new things. The biggest thing that I've done this year is coming to the understanding of rest. You probably like, girl, I be resting all the time. Or listen, when I tell you the understanding of rest is more than just sleeping. Is more than just taking a nap. Rest is like being good to your body, not overworking yourself. It's so many things that like rest is just I kept saying to myself, so I already know like 2023, I'm gonna be booked and busy. Oh, it's not even 2023 yet, and I'm already booked and busy. Um, but I know that I'm gonna need to rest. Can you imagine flying all across the world, long flights, like concerts here? Like, can you imagine that? Can you imagine yourself doing that? When I imagine myself doing that, and I'm just like, when am I gonna have time to rest? And I was like, oh, I need to figure out time management. I need to figure out resting. I need to figure out meditation. I need to figure all of these things. I need to get good at it. Positive affirmations. I need to get good at it. Because what I realized here lately is like human beings are really disrespectful. And I feel like it's because people have been allowing disrespect all across the board from like parents, siblings, relationship, work. We've been allowing disrespect for forever, especially these last 2 years. We've been allowing it. We've been like, okay, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. But I feel like once we start taking our power back and be like, hey, that shit don't fly over here, and start holding people accountable for the shit that they do, I feel like we will start moving into a greater area in our life. I'm gonna say that because me personally, I've moved into a greater area in my life, but it took me releasing things. It took me letting go of the traumas. It took me letting go of the anger, the bitterness, the unforgiveness. I know when people talk about forgiveness, right? It's always, oh, you should forgive your mom for treating you like shit, or you should forgive your family, or you should forgive that person that broke up with you. It's always that. But the person that you want, the person that should forgive you, you should forgive yourself. And not like, oh, well, you let it happen, but you should forgive yourself for taking on all of that. It's like we go through shit in life and we take on, like we hold it, we carry it around. We have an experience where we don't trust somebody, or somebody do something that's distrustful, that is dishonest. And now every person that we look at is like, oh, I don't trust people. How many times have you said, I don't trust people? I trust people as far as I can throw them. And you know you can't throw people far. We got to release that. If you want to be happy, you want to be whole, you have to release the things that are in your heart. You can't be like, oh, I hate your baby, I hate your daddy, and then look at your child and be like, oh, I love you. I know we try to. I know you can't be like, you think you all that, and you be like, I love you. You can't, those two, there's no balance there. You can't hate one thing and then say, "Oh yeah, I love you." You can't do that. It's no balance. Well, good. I guess you could say that it's balance, but it's not balance because you can't hate something about me and then love me at the same time. I know my religious friends do that. They say, "I hate the sin. I love you as a person, but I hate the sin." In actuality, I am the person that's doing the. Anyways, well, we gotta release that. We gotta release our ideas. So I'm gonna say we gotta release the negative and we gotta release the positive. It's just release. I don't know what is going on with my throat right now. You ever feel like there's something in there? And I know it's not a vocal polyp because I got a clean bill of health, but it's something in there. Um, we gotta start releasing. If you've been holding on to a secret that happened to you and your family, it's time for you to start releasing it. I know when I shared my experience of being molested by the pastor of the church, um, it ruffled a couple of feathers. I'm not gonna say a couple. It ruffled a lot of feathers. Whenever we hear about people like coming out about sexual abuse or sexual assault, um, the first thing that many people say is like, why did you take so long? Why did you have to do it right now, or why? And the reality is it takes courage. It takes courage because once you just say, okay, I was molested by the pastor of the church, it's not, it doesn't end right there. It doesn't end right there. It's actually like a beginning, a new beginning. Because while I have experienced that, that was my pretty much all of my life from like 8 until um you experience the actual event, and then you have like experiences after the actual event. You have the experience that like, okay, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe This is my fault. Like you go through all these different things, right? And there's no one really there to tell you like, hey, it wasn't your fault, or hey, this is going to happen as a result. Like I had really good people surrounding me. I had really good people surrounding me. And those people, um, they didn't focus on the thing that happened to me. They focused on me. They focused on making sure that I was okay. They focused on making sure that I knew that it wasn't my fault, and I knew that um, it would get better. When I say that it would get better, that I began as as it was happening, I realized that I was able to detach myself. So a lot of these things, a lot of these words I'm applying to it is things that I've come to understand by going to therapy. So right here I'll say it's important. If you are experiencing traumas in your life and you don't consider it a trauma, if you come from an abusive family, if you come from a what happens in this family stays here family, if you grow up in a religious family, if you grow up in a family where your parents just didn't know how to raise you, we should all go to therapy. I will forever be an advocate for therapy. But as I was experiencing the abuse, I went through a thing within myself. I I'm doing 39 days of smiles, and I was saying to someone, um, I'm today is day 26 of the smiles, and every smile that I have shared so far, I literally was transported to that actual smile. And I remember the trauma, I remember the tears, I remember the sadness, I remember I felt it. It's like I know they're like, I wish I had a time machine, but it was literally because I experienced that. I lived through that. So it was like I was transported back in that time. And now when I think about that, like now in these 26 days, I've been able to look back. I've been able to smile because I've healed that part of me. Of course, as long as I'm alive, I'm going to still be healing, but I have healed that part of me. I have let go. I've come to understand that that smile, you guys see me smiling, but behind that smile, there was a lot of hurt. There was a lot of pain. And I'm saying this as we are 13 days away from a new year, as we are going into Christmas, because a lot of times you may see people around you smiling, but understand that there is something behind that smile. I smiled every day in the mirror, and every day I kept telling myself it was going to get better. Every fucking day. I don't care how fucking dark it was. I kept saying it is going to get better. One day I will be out of this environment. One day I will be surrounded by people who love and care about me and don't give a fuck about none of that other shit. And March 18th, 2022. I know you probably like, that's a long time. No, no, no. There was other instances where I felt like people actually cared, but March 18th, 2022, I knew that people cared. I knew. I had let go of everything that was blocking me from receiving love, from receiving people doing for me because I've always done for other people. I released that and I just sat in it and I basked in it. And to this very day, it's an overwhelming sensation when you feel loved. A lot of times we are stopping the people that wants to come in and love us and treat us right or give us the things, the desires of our hearts. We are stopping it because it doesn't look like we want it to look. It doesn't feel like we want it to feel because we're used to people talking down to us. So if you don't talk down to us, you don't love us. No, the reality of it is no one should be talking down to you. No one should be treating you like you are a second class citizen, where people should be treating you how they want to be treated. I um have been saying, and I will continue to say, the person that I wanted to love me. I thought it was my parents. I thought it was. I did want their love, and I'm grateful that I have their love. Um, but the person that I wanted to love me was me. And I know you're probably sitting there right now, you're listening, and you're like, oh, I love myself. And then I'm going to ask you this question. Have you ever gone above and beyond for yourself like you have done for someone else? Have you ever put yourself before anyone? Anyone? I used to say, oh, I love myself all the time. I used to say that. I used to say that. And I believed it. And then when life was like, you don't fucking love yourself, look at you. And I'm looking at myself, it's like I will work. I will work so hard. I will work until I just literally will fall asleep. You ever just work so hard and you were studying so hard and you just fell asleep on your books and you got your paper stuck to your face? Like I was working myself. Working myself. You ever think about, like, it's about to be a new year, and I'm not saying people only do this to new year, but you ever be like, oh, I'm about to start a new diet, I'm about to start fasting, I'm about to start doing, you have all these hopes, dreams, and aspirations that you want to lose weight, but the reality of it is you only want to lose weight so you can look good. You don't think about the feel good part. You just want to look good. You want to look good where people be like, "Oh, you lost weight," or "Oh, bro, what's you get musk?" You that's you only want that validation. For me, it was like, no, I want to feel. When I said I want to release everything, I want to let everything go. I started to think about um the way I eat, the way I like consume, like being on social media. I started to release everything. I literally said, I told someone yesterday, I was like, I used to be on YouTube all the time. I used to be watching other people's channels. I used to do all of that. But there came a time where it was just like, this is really toxic for me. Like, this is really toxic. And I'm not with anything that like shifts my environment. I don't need that. So when I be on social media and it's like you scroll and it's like, oh, I be saying real life out loud. I be like, I really want people to be okay. I can't watch the news. I used to love to watch the news, but I can't watch the news because I am affected by things that are happening. I watched the news the other day and it was like a young lady drove her car into the lake with her baby in it, and I was instantly traumatized because I was just like, I thought about the baby, I thought about what the mother was going through. I got the news about Twitch. Like, I've never met Twitch. Never met him. I just saw him on the Ellen show. I saw him on So You Think You Can Dance. I just saw his life, but I was affected by that. I real life, like, my family has been reaching out to me this week, and that's because I haven't really been outside, and I was just like, I just feel heavy. I feel heavy. I feel heavy. And I was so sad because, when Twitch, the situation with Twitch, and everybody was like, check on your strong friends, check on the people you know. And I was just like, the reality of it is if we were doing that every day, not saying every day you got to be like, hey, are you okay? Hey, are you good? But if we were doing that on a regular basis, we wouldn't have to say, hey, check on your strong friends. This year, I understood, like, okay, I said to myself, I've always been the person that everybody comes to for like anything. I've always been that person, right? But now I'm not able to be that person. So, how do people do for me when I was the one doing for them? I got my answer to that. People did for me and they overwhelmed me for, I want to say, for all the years that I did not feel loved, that I did not feel appreciated, that I did not feel respected, that I did not feel wanted. This year definitely made up for that. And we still got 13 days to go. This year has definitely made up for that. I released the I don't want to depend on people because they're gonna let me down. I released that. I don't put expectations on people anymore. I realized that it was my expectations that hindered me from a lot of things. I said earlier, like, oh, by 25, by 30, I want to do this. I want to be traveled. I want to have stamps in my passport. I want to. And then fucking COVID happened. And it's like, so now what do I do? I can't travel like I wanted to. Now what do I do? I had the brilliant mind to be like, I'm going to reach out to people that I've been trying to reach out to before. Before COVID, I was reaching out to people because I have a music business podcast. And I was reaching out to people because I wanted to talk to them. I wanted to interview them on my podcast. And it was like, oh, they have to find time. The schedules was so busy. And then, COVID happened and everybody is at home. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to hop off the porch. And hop off the porch, I mean, I'm just going to send them a message. Because this is what I realized, right? Sorry, y'all. When I get emotional, I get all. Um, Here's what I realized that COVID did for everybody. COVID reset life. All the people that was too busy to return a call or to return an email, now they had nothing but fucking free time to respond to emails and let's meet over Zoom or let's hang out in Google Hangouts, or it was just all of that. And for me, it was like, I'm going to take advantage of this. Everybody that I wanted to talk to, like right now, I did a vision. I didn't do a vision board or anything like that. I have a vision book. And in my vision book, I have people that I want to interview for my podcast. And so I live in Wisconsin, and it's like, oh, I'm just somebody from Wisconsin and I'm just trying to interview these people, right? And so I had to release the fear of why would they talk to me? And so when I prepared my email or um or my little spiel my little pitch I was going to give them as to why they should talk to me, I the confidence of within myself began to rile up, and I was like, oh no, you definitely need to talk to me. Not arrogantly, but like, oh no, you definitely need to talk to me because what you're doing is affecting what I'm doing, and we need to come together so that people can know, like, hey, there is people out here that really want you to be successful in life. I'm not going to be the first one to tell you to go out here and sign a major deal. I'm not going to do that. So I want to work with other people that's saying, hey, you should look at this before you do that. I I pushed past the fear that I had of reaching out to people. I love the talk. If you can't tell, I love the talk. But when it comes to meeting new people, I was afraid. I was afraid because then I would have to be my authentic self. And I hadn't been my authentic self for so long. And not because I was literally wearing a mask because I didn't want to make people around me feel bad. And I know that probably sounds really bad, but the reality of it is how many times have you dimmed yourself so that the people around you could feel okay? I'll ask this question, right? If you are a parent, and you are supposed to be co-parenting, right? How many times have you picked up the slack for the other parent just so that the child won't look at the other parent as they were nothing? If you are a child and you have a parent, how many times have you put on for your parent just so that people wouldn't call your parent bad? How many times have you put on for your job just so it'll make like the job is a good job? Like, how many times have you put on in your life? How many times have you smiled? How many times have somebody said, are you okay? And your answer was, yeah, girl, I'm good. Yeah, bro, I'm fine. Knowing that on the inside you were hurting. You smiled. Smile. Like, I'm 26 days in, and when I smile now, it's different. It comes from a whole different place. Like, I cannot smile and not, like, it's like my heart is like, it's it's so hard to put it in words, but I'll see if I could do this, right? It's like when I smile, I feel my blood. Like, of course, your blood is running through your body, but I feel like my heart just leap every time I smile. It's like before when I would smile, it was like an elephant sitting on my chest. It was like, oh, I can't smile too hard because when you smile too hard or things are going so good, something will always come and take away that smile. But I knew one day I was going to get to the point where I would be able to smile and just be okay. And I am here and I am basking in the ambiance of that. And it's a feeling when I feel it every time I smile, and I smile a lot because, I have dimples. I'm beautiful. Anyways, but I want everybody to experience that. Being able to smile and not be like, oh, I can't smile too much because somebody gonna look at me and think, no, I don't give a fuck what you think about my smile. If my smile triggers something into you, good. It should trigger you. It should trigger you to figure out why my smile is bothering you. I'm a smile for the rest of my life. I'm going to smile. And I hope that my smile doesn't trigger you. I hope that it inspires you. It inspires you to want to be happy. It inspires you to want to release that thing that is holding back your smile. Maybe you don't feel like you can't smile because you had a baby before marriage, or you had a baby at a young age, or you in a situation that you know ain't good, but you're just there because you feel comfortable. Maybe that's blocking your smile. You survived a global fucking pandemic. Don't you think it's time for you to smile? I literally every day since March 18th, 2022, I have been smiling so hard that my jaws hurt. Smiling, just knowing that I started out on a journey of healing and self discovery, not knowing what the fuck that meant, but just knowing that I've released so much shit where I can smile now. And I'm crying right now, but it's like, it's a release. It's a release of knowing that that one day has finally come, and you're probably telling yourself, one day I'm gonna have all the money, one day I'm gonna have the fine girl, the fine man. I'm gonna tell you to switch that. I want to tell you to switch that to one day I will be so confident in myself that I will hop off the porch, I will take the leap off the mountain, I will do whatever it is that I need to do to be successful. Because I personally feel like everybody is born with the thing that they are going to be successful in. I personally believe that. Maybe you were good at drawing, like your parents hung up every picture you ever created in life, and now you're an artist, but you don't do art because it's like, man, I gotta pay these bills, or man, it don't provide me. I be scrolling on Instagram. When I do scroll on Instagram, um I realize that my algorithm or whatever it is have now started showing me um people who paint, right? One point in my life I wanted to be a painter. I went to school. I took art design. I wanted to be an interior decorator. I was designing everything. And so last week I went to Hobby Lobby. That's my new favorite store. I don't know if you've ever been to Hobby Lobby, but if you have one in your time, you should definitely go. I don't know what it is about it. So I went to Hobby Lobby, and I got some paint. I got some paint brushes. Um, I got some canvas. I have some things that I want to paint, and I just was like, I haven't want to do that. I haven't wanted to do that in so long. But the more I like heal, the more I release, the more I walk or I accept and acknowledge the things that happen. It's like all of those things that I just kind of gave up or not done, um, they've been prevalent. Like they've been right here. Um, so I was like, you know what? This week I'm gonna paint. I'm gonna go live and I'm gonna paint. I bought puzzles. I used to love to do puzzles. I used to love it. It was so calming. It's so relaxing. When I found words on stream, I was like, it reminded me of playing Scrabble with my grandmother, and just learning words. Like all of these things, it just felt real nostalgic. And when I think about them now, there's not that. It's not that like tightness in my chest. It's not that um anxiety. It's not the anxiousness. It's not any of that. It's just like love. And it's just like me. It's just me. And that's why I want to come and encourage you to release yourself. Release yourself from the bondage of what happens here stays here. You were traumatically affected by events in your life. And while for me, talking about the shit that happened to me helps me, maybe that's not your thing. Maybe painting or drawing or writing or dancing is your thing. Do that. Do it. Whatever your vision is, whatever the thing that's burning. I love Sister Act 2, right? And I love the scene where Whoopi Goldberg is talking to Lauryn Hill and she say, if you dream about being an ice capator, I don't know if she said those exact words, but she's like, if you dream about doing something every day, if every day you wake up and you be like, damn, I'm gonna start a YouTube. I want to be a YouTuber. I said, I said last night, thank you to everybody who came over for Saturday Night Vibes. The live is karaoke on YouTube at 9 right here on this channel. But I said last night that I've literally done YouTube for 20 years. 20 years. Not 20 years straight, but altogether it was 20 years, right? And I realized, the thing that I realized about myself is I'm not moved by money. I've never been moved by money. I wasn't doing YouTube just to get, like, right now I don't do YouTube. I am monetized, but I don't do YouTube to for money. When I was looking back, I have a music channel here. It's a channel that I used for music. It was my first channel, YouTube channel ever. And I looked back and I have videos from 15, 16 years ago. And I was like, I was into YouTube. I would come and do the shit that I'm doing now. I'm doing it more freely. But I looked back at those videos and I thought, I was in the thick of it, but I had the wherewithal in my mind to go live and talk about my experiences, knowing that in my mind, in my heart, I kept saying one day I would be free and I would be in a space where I can share this and I won't have, like you experience shit in your life and you be like, oh, this is really embarrassing. And if somebody find this out, I'm not in that space no more. I don't give a fuck what you find out. I don't fucking care. I've literally told you everything about my fucking life. If you don't believe me, go back and watch any video on my channel. And if you decide that you want to take what I said to you and use that against me, that shows the kind of individual you are. I had somebody who was like, they literally watched the entire thing. My entire breakup played out on social media. So they literally watched that. And they said, I see why Shorty left you. That shit hurt it. It hurt it because I never thought the person who said it would ever say anything like that to me. And it hurt it. And then I just had to sit with that for a moment. And I was just like, people try. People try all the time. They take things that they feel like you still have. And it hurt it because I hadn't addressed the situation. It hurt it because I had not addressed that I had experienced a really bad breakup. That's why it hurt it. So anything that is left unresolved on the inside of you, of course people can dangle that over you. And people will. You're listening to me right now. I'm pretty sure someone has dangled something over you. You told them something or they experienced something with you and they know how it makes you feel and they used it against you. I said to myself while I was on this journey of healing and self-discovery, I'm going to accept and acknowledge everything that ever happened to me in my life because I'm not going to use it as a weapon against myself and I'm not going to allow anybody to use it as a weapon against me. Everything that I was not confident enough, or everything that I was fearful to come for in previous years, that's dead. I'm no longer that person. I'm a whole nother person. I have grown, I've matured. I'm at the place right now as everything that I set my mind to, I'm coming for. I know doing YouTube and talking about my life that one day anybody can come and be like, hey, this happened to her at this time. You think I'm going to shy away from it like, oh no, you're mistaken? No, that fucking happened. And you ever been in a conversation with somebody and they just talking shit and you be like, so and you haven't? Try it one time. Try it when somebody woofing real hard and be like, so and because they're banking on you. They're banking on you to respond emotionally. I read this book. It's about emotional intelligence. And I tell you, that book fucking changed me. It changed me. I used to respond to everything. I used to just take everything personally. It's not, everything isn't personal. Some people just be having really fucked up days, and because they're having a fucked up days, they want you to have a fuck up day too. You smiling and they over there, life is fucked up, and they want you to have a fucked up day too. Now we both got fucked up days. Now both of our faces is messed up. No, that's not for me. I'm gonna hit you with the so and you're gonna be looking confused because you was like, I'm not prepared for that. I was prepared for me to say this to you, and then you was gonna respond this way, and then we was gonna have an argument, and then if you're in a relationship, we was gonna go have makeup sex because makeup sex is the best sex, or we was that's how we was gonna break up. I'm gonna argue with you, and then we gonna break up, or I'm gonna call in and not want to do the job, and then you just gonna fire me, and then I'm gonna go get workers comp because instead of me just walking in there and be like, hey, you treated me like shit. You making me do a manager job, but you paying me like an employee. No, I want to be paid like a manager. I want to be paid like a supervisor. Our real life in 2022 found my voice. When I say found my voice, I mean I found that thing that I knew decades ago. Decades ago. I knew the thing. I wrote a poem. I'm gonna share it in 2023, but I'll give y'all this little tidbit, right? Um, I wrote a poem, and then part of the poem is like, the monster had my voice on his key ring. You ever experience something in life, and it's like the person who do it to you, they take your power, they take your voice, they take a part of you that you feel like you can never get that shit back. I'm here to let you know you'll get it back. You just gotta find that shit in you to be like, hey, this shit happened to me, and I don't give a fuck how you feel about it or what you say about it. It happened to me, and I'm gonna fucking talk about it. I talked about being molested by a fucking pastor, and you know that I had more people coming to me um in support or encouraging me or helping me, like wanting me to help them walk through their process than I did of people like, well, I did have a lot of people tell me they was gonna beat me up and do it was a lot. It's still kind of to this day. It's a lot. But I was prepared for that because I in my life endured all of this. I suffered in silence. I suffered in silence. No more fucking silence. I told someone, I'm talking. I don't, if in a person, if I say what the fuck I say, I'm telling my truth and that person feels some kind of way, I'm adult enough where I will go to them and I will talk to them and I will let them know. I done had to tell multiple people, like, I will never see church the way that you see church or people who just go to church as a hospital see church. I will never see church like that. I know it was like, you should never say never. Hey, I'm 42 years old. I'm not even church. Me and church is the way it is. It's just what it is. And I just want people to ask me, hey, why don't you see it like that? Then I'll be able to tell you the, how, where I'm at. But we don't really want to know. It's like check on your strong friends. You really don't want to know how your strong friend is, because then that will cause you to actually open up your heart and fucking care. We don't care. Human beings have become so careless now. We don't care. Long as we are okay, we don't care. We don't give a fuck about you. I give a fuck about you. That's why I have a whole Nurturing Conversation podcast, because I give a fuck. I give a fuck about people who suffer in silence. I give a fuck. I care. You might not ever talk to me. You might not ever like be like, "Hey, girl, you my friend." You might not ever do that, but you could send me an email message and be like, "Hey, um, here's a topic I want to talk about. Or here's something that I wish somebody would talk about." Shit, I'm talking about every fucking thing. Every fucking thing. It's so much shit that people don't talk about and people suffer in silence, and molestation is one of them. And I was molested by somebody who wasn't a they wasn't a rando. There wasn't nobody that like it wasn't just, oh, this person just, no, it was somebody close. If you think about it, a lot of times that we are taken advantage of, or a lot of times our innocence is stolen is by people that we know. People that we know do this shit to us. On a rare occasion, it's somebody we don't know or we're not related to. But the reality of it is, there's a lot of shit. A lot of shit happens to us by people we know and love. And then because we're so ingrained that what happens here stays here, or that's your family, you should treat them like, or we don't talk about that, or we don't do, and we're not even realizing how much fucking trauma we are causing ourselves, how much fucking trauma we are putting other people through. I talk about molestation on this channel not just because I've been molestation, but because I've been molested, but because I know that molestation is really high, especially in the religious community. I come from the religious community, and I'm just telling you, it's really high. And a lot of people don't talk about it because they give it to Jesus, and Jesus is going to work it out. But we see how that's going, and that's no knock against Jesus, but it's just we as people need to start standing up. We don't want to talk about our uncle that's been molesting everybody in the fucking family. We don't want to talk about that because God is going to deliver him. God is going to make sure that he's okay. No, uncle needs to go and get some help. If he can't get help, he needs to be locked away. Think about it. How many lives have been destroyed by family secrets? Release yourself. It's 13 days in 2022. Release yourself. Let it go. I know when we hear let it go, people are like, it's not that easy. The reality of it is it's been killing. It's been fucking killing you. It's been destroying you. It's been weighing heavy on you. I'm going to tell you this, right? If you are a parent and you look at your child and you say, I wish a motherfucker would, you definitely need to get that resolved. I get it. Parents, you will do anything to protect your child, but I want you to get that resolved, because if you never told on uncle, or if you never told on auntie, grandma, cousin, if you never told on that person, right? But you heard whispers of things happening, right? And your child is still being subjective to that family member or subjective to those families, we can see where you already know what's down the road. That's why I wish more people would talk about it. You know, people get molested. It's like, you don't talk about being molested. You don't talk about it. I'm going to fucking talk about it because I want you to know that shit is not right. It is not cool, and it caused severe damage, trauma. It does. Whether we want to admit it or not, it does. It does. And it does for so I went to therapy. And I had this idea because I grew up in a cult, that they were gonna start putting things in my mind, and they were gonna like convince me, and I was just looking like, nah, I never thought that. I just knew that I thought going to therapy was gonna be the end all be all. Like, I was gonna go to therapy, I was gonna sit on the couch, kick my legs up, they was gonna ask me questions. Mm-mm. That was not therapy at all. Not therapy. My first time going to therapy, I cried. I cried. I cried. I cried so because I thought it was going to be one way and it was totally different. I thought they was going to ask me, or I was going to tell them, and they were going to ask me all these different questions, and I don't know, I saw a lot of TV about therapists. I thought that's what it was going to be like. It was not anything like that. In my first couple therapy sessions, I was just like, this shit is overwhelming. It is so overwhelming. And it was only overwhelming because I had shut my emotions off. And so when you go and you start talking about emotional shit, you ever talk about something emotional with somebody and they was like cold, like they didn't even have a response? It's because we as adults or we as human beings turn our emotions off. We don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want people to see us cry. We want people to think that we strong and we hard and I don't give a fuck. Y'all gonna see me cry. Y'all gonna see me smile. Y'all gonna see me all of that because I am a fucking human being. Shit hurts. Shit makes me cry. I'm sitting in therapy bawling because I'm just like, holy shit. I've been carrying around this shit for so long because I never knew that I could put it down. I never knew that it wasn't mine to carry. I was just carrying it. I was carrying around shit that had it was never mine to carry. I was just carrying it around because it happened to me and I was just holding on to it like, yep, this happened to me. And no one's going to love me because this happened to me. No one's going to consider me a wife because this happened to me. I can't go to be what I want to be because then somebody going to find out that this happened to me. And then I went to EDMR therapy. It's like the little Night Rider light that go back and forth. And I found out about safe space. I found out about safe space and I found out about accepting and acknowledging, not denying it. Because when you deny it, you only suppress the feelings, you only add weight to what is already there. But when I started accepting and acknowledging that shit real life happened, like shit real life fucking happened. And I started to acknowledge the feelings that it made me feel of insecurities and abandon and rejection and sadness. I started to acknowledge all the shit that I like did to try to protect myself because I didn't feel safe. When I thought about how many times I told, when I thought about nobody doing anything and like my voice not being valuable, and I thought like I'm gonna stop fucking talking. When I thought about the journey I took to get to 42 and now being 42, um I say like, oh, my life was so fucked up, it was so hard, but the reality of it is my life was necessary. It wasn't necessary for me to be molested, but listen to me when I say it was necessary for me to be in this moment, to accept, to walk in confidence, to accept that I was the thing that was holding myself back from being happy. I was the thing that was holding myself back from being great. You know, people be like, oh, I can't start this business because I don't have no money. Um, I be in spaces, I be in the entrepreneur space, right? Um, and I see people start businesses. I seen women start cupcake business from just going in their closet or pantry and using the shit that's in their pantry and setting up their video camera and making full-fledged delivery cupcake businesses by using the shit they already have. I kept saying to myself, I don't want to fucking be a teacher. I don't want to be a teacher. And the whole time I was teaching, but I just didn't want to do it. It was that push and pull, and it was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna be a fucking teacher. And the moment I said that, it was like my life was just like, finally, here you go. And then I accepted the reality that every fucking thing in my life that I was afraid of or I did not want to do has right now, presently at 42, has brought me the greatest joy in my fucking life. You know, Fancy, The thing that I had to come to understand is that setting boundaries and enforcing those boundaries are important, and speaking gives power. It gives you your power back. Cause listen, right? You ever had somebody, um, you ever had somebody take advantage of you, and they bank on the fact that you're going to be embarrassed. They bank on the fact that you're not going to tell anybody because how that's going to make you look, like what people going to think about you. They bank on that. People who do shitty things to you bank on the fact of you not repeating it or you not sharing it, so they're going to get away with it. You ever been in a relationship and you get cheated on, and the people that cheat on you bank on the fact that you're not going to talk about it because that's not you? People do that. People do that all the time. Family members do shitty things to you. People, the whole, it happen. What happens here stays here. Shitty, so shitty. And they bank on the fact that you my family and you don't want to see me hurt. You don't want to see me go to jail, so you're not gonna say nothing. People thought I was never going to talk, or people never expected me to say anything. And then when I did, it was just like, I'm gonna tell y'all what I realized. When I said what I said, no one called me a liar. No one said she was lying. No one said, "Oh, she just making shit up." Nobody said that. I didn't. That's not what I heard. I heard people was upset. I know people wanted to fight me, and I know people was like, "Why did you wait until now?" It's like, at this point in my life, I just want to be free. I don't want to carry that around anymore. I sing every time I do karaoke, or every time I do any kind of singing. I always end with "Get It Together" by NDRE, and she has this part in her song. She said, "You held that shit on in for 15 years." She didn't say shit, but I just put that right there. She said, "You held that in for 15 years, and now your chest burns and your back aches." I'm tired of walking around like that. I um when I walk now, I walk with such, like, my, you ever pay attention to how you walk? You walk with like your head down, or do you walk with your head looking forward? Or some people walk with their head up. Like, I realize now when I walk, I'm not hunched over. Like, I am staying straight and tall. And when I talk to people, I have this passion in my voice. I know most people would be like, "Oh, that's aggressiveness." No, no, no. It's There's passion in my voice. Well, when I talk now, you're going to hear me. It's not the little whisper that I will talk to you before. No, you're going to hear me. You're not only going to hear me, you're going to hear me. I released everything. I released it. I'm not holding on to other people's responsibility. I'm not holding on to anything that doesn't revolve around me. I'm not holding on to it. It was so freeing. I realized that I had never said the individual's name. For years, I would never even say the individual's name. I would never mention it. I would never, never. And then I put a name to the situation, and it freed me. It freed me. Freed me. Freeing. I released that. That secret was a secret that I held in for so long. And it was like, we holding secrets in for so fucking long. And it's like, oh, it's because that's we just all we know. Secrets. Now I still got some secrets. But shit like that, I'm not holding it anymore. You do some fucked up shit to me, I'm gonna tell you right then and there, and then I'm just boundary. You gonna get one real fat boundary. I keep saying I do not tolerate disrespect, and then the more I begin to process the really bad breakup, the more I realized that I was totally disrespected. And then it kind of made me a little angry. And I was only angry because I was like, that's not me. And now you having a conversation like, that's not me. And you just stood by and watched as, yeah, it's a no for me. That's major disrespect. Major. And I allowed that disrespect. And why did I allow it? Because I loved that person. I loved them. Loved them beyond just loved. Oh, they would never do anything like that. That's why I say I remove expectation from people. I know people gonna do what people do. What people been doing for 42 years in my life. They just gonna do that. When people haven't walked in their power or accepted who they are or looking for validation outside, they're gonna do whatever it takes to get that validation. That's not me. I come here and sometimes there only be 2 or 3 people here. I'm still gonna talk because this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. They say, could you do something if you never got paid? I will talk if I never received a dime for it. Fortunately, fortunately, at this juncture in my life, I'm being paid to talk. I'm being paid to speak. I'm being given honorariums and things like that to talk now. So I would still speak. I would still speak and I would still let you know to release that shit. I will let you know to release shit that happened to you. Let it go. If you're a parent, I think it's important that parents should talk to their kids about molestation. And not from the perspective, oh, some random person is going to come. No, it can happen in your household. In your fucking household, it can happen. I watched this video. Someone actually sent me this video. Um, when I came out to express that I was molested by the pastor of the church, they sent me a video of this young man, or he's older now, but he was saying how his father was an evangelist and his mother was like a jurisdictional mother, and how his parents were pimping him out, pimping him and his sister out, and then they began to engage, and I just was taken aback. But I wasn't really taken aback because I've grew up in that environment and I know how shit be going on. But nobody says anything. They don't. I mean, they will say something to the person who admits that it happens to them. They try to call them crazy. They say they're liars. They try to take the church down like there's all these different things, and like nobody thinks about the person that actually fucking happened to. Like, if you have been abused by somebody in your family, like, you become the outcast. It's like everybody do shit to protect the person that did it to you. So like I said, when I started talking, it was bunch of people was like, I'm gonna beat your ass, meet me here, I'm gonna do it. It was a bunch of that. But it was more people, how did you find the courage to say that? I know that it took a lot of courage to say that, and thank you for saying that. It was more of that. And for me, now that I'm older, it was more of that, because when I was younger, it was like, why would they choose you? And all of those really disrespectful questions. But I get it. Like, when people don't want to see the people that they hold on a pedestal in any other light than a light that they see. It's like, you ever grow up and have a conversation with your parents as you're an adult, and then your parents hit you with that guilt, like, I did the best that I could. I made sure that it wasn't like I was telling you what was going on with me, not so that you could say how good of a parent that you are, but that you can understand where I'm at in my life right now. But they're gonna hit you with that guilt trip, like, I did the best that I could. And I'm calling it a guilt trip because that's usually what happens. And then you start feeling bad, like, I'm not trying to say you were a bad mom, I'm just saying. But the reality of it is they be bad moms. And you would think that as time grows on, the life lessons be learned, that people would be different. No, sometimes people just be set in their ways. And I'm glad that I didn't become complacent with where I was at. I've always wanted more. Always. And I'm grateful for always wanting more. Like right now, I know there's more that I could be doing, and I'm trying to figure out which way, how to utilize the platforms that I have so I can help people. What can I do to share more positivity, light and love. What can I do? And that's why I got the Nurturing Conversation podcast. Just talking. Many times people come, they don't talk. People just lurk in the room. They don't talk. They listen to me talk. And I appreciate it. I hope that while you're here, you feel inspired to talk or release yourself. I'm not telling you to go up to Thanksgiving or Christmas that's coming up and like wreck shit. But if that's what you feel like you need to do, go ahead and do that. Free yourself. You've been holding on to shit for so long and you keep going to family engagements and you keep happening. It's like at this point, you got to put your foot down. You got to set a boundary. And remember, they want you to be quiet. They want you to. They banking on you not saying it. They banking on you feeling embarrassed. They bank on you feeling ashamed. Because that's what happens. That's what happens. When shit happens to us, we internalize every fucking thing. Or I'll say I internalized every fucking thing. Shouldn't have, but I did. And as a result of that, I began to question everything. Can I actually do a 12-song album? I got one of those. It's a Christmas album. It's actually 15 songs. Can I score a documentary? I did. Currently streaming on HBO Max called Growing Up Milwaukee. Can I start a podcast? I actually have 2 podcasts. One of my podcasts is nominated for Best in Milwaukee. And this podcast right here is taking on legs of its own. And I'm so grateful for it. Can I start a YouTube channel? I did. I have 1, 2, 3. I'm introducing a new channel called Shell Reacts in 2023, where all of my reactions will be. So I have 5 or 6 different channels, and one of them has been around for 16 years. I'm currently working on my second book. It's when you really like get past yourself. When you get past yourself, you see how much you are able to do. You'll see how much you're able to do. Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel, and for 2 years you've been saying, "I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. I don't know what to start my YouTube channel on." What is it that you love? What do you love? Do you love yourself? Make a YouTube channel and talk about yourself. That's so vain. No. These nurturing conversations, I be talking about myself. I be talking about the shit that I experienced. And as I talk, I release and I gain a better understanding. I gain more confidence. I gain new viewers. I gain people who are inspired by the things that I say. Even with my business, I just like, I want to do something different. I don't want to be the traditional, hey, we going to do this. I want to do something different. And this year I tested that and the test worked. You ever want to know if something is going to work, test it. You're probably like, man, I want to start a YouTube channel reacting to stuff, but I don't know how it's going to work. I'm going to tell you how it's going to work. You're going to put your camera up. You don't got to go get one of those big, expensive cameras. You could use your phone camera. Put your camera up and be like, hey, I'm going to review the latest song that came out. Review the latest movie that came out. And then you see where it go from there. Our real life, this entire channel, I've tested so many different things and figured out what worked and what didn't work. And over the week, actually it was this past Tuesday, I actually accepted the fact that I am a live streamer. And I love streaming live because it gives me instant connection between myself and you. Instant. We might not can see each other, but you can hear me. You can see me. I know that you're in the room. And I appreciate that. Thank you, Fancy, for being here. Thank you to everybody that's been here the entire 1 hour and 39 minutes that I've been live. Thank you for all the people that popped in. Thank you for you that's going to come back and watch this after it is over. If I would have been worried about, oh, what are people going to think? Or I would have never started this podcast. And truthfully, it started as Sunday night dinner and convo just so I could build up the courage to put the Nurturing Conversation podcast on it. My first podcast I have, it's called Melanated Musicology. I did that on, I need to have something. Like, I already have this business, I have this business. I need to have something where I can instantly grab people's attention. And my podcast is not 10 minutes, it's not 20 minutes, it's not an hour, it's only 60 seconds. People was like, can I never be successful? You need to have 60 seconds. And it is doing well in 60 seconds. I'll be season 2 is coming up in January. It's so exciting. All of these things started during the podcast. During the pandemic. I've been wanting to do them for so long, but during the pandemic, I was like, you know what? This is a perfect time to do it. I scored a documentary in the midst of a pandemic. I took on different roles in the midst of a pandemic, and they have been successful. I got offered a position on a board, and before they owed me, I was just like, nah, why would you choose me? I had these things happen to me in my past because I was throwing it up. Like, these happened in my past. But it's like, no, I need to deal with these things. I need to release these things because the way, the doors that I am walking in now, the places I am going, I don't care if you find out whatever you find out about me. I don't care. Because I'm going to hit you with that and you're going to be so discombobulated. You can't do nothing else. The only other thing you're going to do is you're going to have to respect me. Have to. Respect is high on my list. Respect is really high on my list. I care about a lot of things, but I don't care. I don't care if you talk about me. I don't even care. Thank you. Because you put in my name in places I've never been, probably won't ever walk in. I said this because professionally, I would pitch my business and I would hold back. Like, I know, like, I could give, but I would just do the bare minimum. I was doing the bare minimum, and people were referring people to me, and I was doing the bare minimum, and I was getting an invitation to different places. And I say, you know what? I'm going to turn it up a little bit. So 2022, I turned it up a little bit. I got more invitations. I got speaking engagements. I'm actually ending the year on a speaking engagement. I'm turning it up. YouTube, turning it up. Twitch, turning it up. TikTok, turning it up. I'm going to figure out this Facebook and Instagram, and I'm going to turn that up too. Turning up everything. I'm free. I'm not bound. I'm not bound by shame. I'm not bound by guilt. I'm not bound by embarrassment. I'm not bound by any of those things. And this is why I say I want you to release yourself. Because if you continue to hold on to that situation, if you continue to hold on to those situations, the embarrassment, the fear, the shame, that's what's going to weigh you down. That's just going to weigh you down. It's going to keep you from striving. Maybe you don't talk like everybody else. Maybe you got a deep accent. Hell, I got a stutter. But you see, I be talking all the time. I know people be like, oh, well, Shell, you've been doing this for a long time. It didn't start that way. 16 years ago, I real life set my camera up on some books and I was like, I'm just going to fucking talk. That's what I'm going to do. And one day I'm going to be in a place where I'm comfortable and I'm going to talk from a genuinely comfortable place. 16 years ago. You can go watch it. It's Midwsthumnbrd. It's my Midwsthumnbrd. It's out there. I never took the channel down. I kept it up there. And then I was looking at it. I was like, man, 16 years ago, I had the wherewithal to record music videos, record myself performing, record singing videos. I knew one day I would be in this spot where I am right now, where all of those things are coming full circle. So, as I wrap this up, I want to say, if you are in a situation or you are in your life and it doesn't look bright, it looks dark, it looks completely dark. What I realize is that it can look completely dark, but there is always a speck of light. Always. If you focus on a speck of light, it will start to grow, it will start to get bigger, and before you know it, you are at that one day. Release yourself. Release the shame, release the guilt, release the hurt, release the anger, release the pain, release it. Free yourself. You have 13 days left in this year. You can set the foundation for how 2023 and the rest of your life will go. Release yourself. If you've been in a relationship with somebody just because y'all known each other, or you've been friends with somebody just because y'all known each other when y'all was growing up, and there's no real substance to your friendship, release it. If you've been in a relationship with somebody because they held you down or lifted you up when you were in a situation, and you looking at that situation right now and you're like, there's nothing here outside of that, release it. If you're going to that job and you complain every single day that you have to go to this job when you really want to be doing something else, release it. In these next 13 days, I want you to find the courage to do that. Do one thing. I'm not telling you to do 5. I'm telling you to do one thing that you always wanted to do, and do it. Take that one thing you've been afraid to do and do it. I guarantee you will feel better. You will start to realize that it wasn't people that was holding you back. You were holding yourself back. Shell, how can you say that? Because if you think about it, like right now, the only reason why you're not starting a YouTube is because what? You don't have a camera. You don't have a light. You got lights in your house. You got a camera on your phone. Put out a video. You may put out a video on somebody like, hey, I got an extra camera you could use. And I know you're probably like, oh, that won't happen. It does. I got lights. I got lights from people I don't talk to. They bought me lights though. I respect what you're doing. Here you go. You never know. If you're waiting till you get some money to start that job, stop waiting and just start that job. Start that business. You want to write a book? Oh, I don't have just write the book. Have an outline. Maybe you don't even got the whole idea of the book. Just write the outline. And say, whenever you go live or whenever you talk, just say, I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book. I said I was writing a book. I've released one book. I'm working on my second book. But I have a series of books together. I got my 2 podcasts. I'm about to start doing video podcasts come 2023. So I'm really doing everything that I've ever wanted to do freely. There's no fear. If I fail, it's okay, because I know I've been successful before. So all I have to do is take what worked and what didn't work and, apply or remove those things, and it'll happen again. I just want to encourage you to release yourself. That family secret you've been holding on is just a thing, right? We be feeling like things are secrets, but the reality of it is everybody be knowing anyways. But we still be feeling like it's a secret. People be talking about it anyways, and we feel like it's a secret. That family secret we be trying to hold in and not tell anybody, but everybody knows anyways. It's time for you to let it go. Let it go. Free yourself. Free yourself from guilt. Free yourself from, oh, I'm going to tear up the family. If you ain't figured out the family ain't shit already, you just figured it out. They ain't shit. Anybody that will protect someone who has harmed someone else ain't shit. I said it. They not shit. If your grandma is choosing to protect her son or her daughter over you, yeah, I get it. Parents want to protect their kids, but they not shit. We should want people to feel safe when they're around us. We should want people to know that somebody has their back. I'm telling y'all, I don't tolerate that. I don't tolerate disrespect. I don't tolerate none of that. I can't know that you harm somebody and I'm gonna be kicking it with you. It's a no. Well, at least they ain't do it to me. It's a no, because if you listen, I've learned that lesson, and I I've learned it. I was like, oh, I just give people the benefit of the doubt. I do. I still give some people the benefit of the doubt, but once I see it one time, that's it. I learned that lesson 2 years ago. Once I see one time, when you see, when people show you who they are, when people show you who they are, believe them. Believe them. That's all I got. I just want you to know that it is important for you to release yourself. You don't have to walk around here angry, bitter. You don't have to walk around here hurt, shame, feeling guilty for the decisions that you made in your past or your present, because everybody makes decisions every day. Some of them good, some of them bad. And never let anybody hold your decision over your head. Never. That's why it's important for you to release yourself, because the more you release yourself, the less likely people are able to like hold shit above you. I can only hold shit above you because you haven't processed it yet. It's the only way. And then we have to speak about it. Go to therapy. I know you probably like, I tried therapy. That shit didn't work. How many times did you do it? Because most people be like, oh, I went to therapy once and I never went back. And I find that so strange that they go to therapy once and they like give up, but they go to church multiple times and they ain't never seen the person that they serving. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I want you to give therapy a try, especially if you've given everything else. If you've given relationships, your job, smoking, drinking, partying, if you've given all of those many tries, and you done been disappointed so many times in your life, just give this therapy a try. I mean, what is gonna hurt? It's not gonna hurt at all. It's gonna help you be better, find balance. That's all I got. Just release yourself. Release yourself from guilt, shame, embarrassment, and fear. Release yourself. You owe it to yourself to be better. You owe it to yourself to love yourself. You owe it to yourself. If you don't do anything else in these next 13 days, rest and love on yourself. Rest and love on yourself. Determine what your likes and your dislikes are. Start setting boundaries. Like I said, we 13 days. I know you're probably going to have a New Year's resolution, a vision board, a vision book, a vision video, whatever. Really, when you really set these intentions, because that's what you're doing, you're actually setting your intentions on what you plan to do. Set your intentions from a clear, positive space. You want to start a business. Don't be like, oh, I can't wait till I get some money and I'm going to do it. No, have the plan, have the outline, and actually start talking about it. You know, when they say you're going to start a business, they tell you to go claim all your social media profiles. Start walking in it as though you are doing it. As someone who has done that, it definitely works. But you have to believe, and you have to come at it from a really pure place. If you're only trying to do something so you can get money and get ahead, we see people all the time. They be winning, they do it, but then they burn out real fast because their intentions was only to get the money and get ahead. I do all this that I do because I really want to help people. So yeah, my journey might not be as expeditious as that, But I'm grateful for the journey that I am on because it's so rewarding. It's so freeing. Like right now, I'm about to wrap this up. I'm going to go and finish doing videos for this week or videos from last week, upload those. Videos from this week, upload and schedule those. And then I'm just going to relax. Hi, Jamela. You have to free yourself so that if you are a parent, you definitely should free yourself so that you don't indirectly pass those things on to your kids. And if you are someone who cares for someone else, you have to free yourself so that you don't indirectly involve other people in that. Release yourself. As you move forward in these next 13 days, release yourself. Release all the shit that you endured in 2022. Release it. Don't take it into 2023. Release it. Release it. Deal with it. Accept it. Acknowledge and choose from there. Choose what you're going to do. If you gave so much of yourself in 2022, give less in 2023. Focus more on you. Rest. Rest. That's all I got, y'all. I tell you, every time I do one of these episodes, I feel so much better. And I hope that it is inspiring you. I hope that you feel better. I hope that you find the courage to be authentically you. That's all I got. Remember that it is important for you to use your words. That is the only way that anyone will ever know what you are feeling and what you are thinking. I will never let a live video, vlog, short, reel, or anything that I present to you go out without me telling you to love yourself. As I stated before, your faults, fears, and failures, because we all love ourselves when we doing good. Our job, everybody is praising us. We good. We love ourselves then, but we should love ourselves in the moments where we don't feel happy, where we don't feel beautiful. We should love ourselves. That's when we should give the greatest love to ourselves. Know yourself. Know your likes, your dislikes. Know boundaries. Know them. Trust yourself. Trust that you will not lead yourself wrong. You know what's good for you. You know what's bad for you. Trust that and move with it. And for the love of humanity, just be yourself. Why? Because you need you. I need you. This world needs you to be authentically you. And anybody that cannot love, respect, and appreciate you for being authentically you, you do not need them. Life is already hard as it is. You don't need to be surrounded by people who can't uplift you, encourage you, inspire you, any of those things. If they always pulling you down, they're always dragging you down, you know, the whole crab is in the barrel, but you don't need to be in that kind of environment. Change your surroundings. Release yourself. Make sure you get your toiletries, non-perishable food items, water, disinfectant, set some cash money to the side. And if you are engaging in adult activities, make sure that you wrap that shit up because STDs are at an all-time high. We are 13 days away from 2023. And if your year has been anything like mine, you are excited about it. You're excited to leave this year and go into another year and start fresh. I've been starting fresh. I started fresh. Anyways, you want to do better. When you know better, you do better. That's what they say. Some people know better but don't do better and still think that life is going to change. No, when you know better, you do better. Release yourself. You've been holding on to shit that's not yours. You've been carrying shit from childhood. Let it go. Release yourself. Free yourself. That's all I got. Until next time, I love, respect, and appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for coming over last night. Thank you for coming over tonight. I look forward to hanging out with y'all. I have, this week I'm going to go live and I'm going to record 7 songs. So every day I'll be going live doing a song for my Christmas album for next year. I put it off. Here it is. It's Christmas time. Like this weekend is Christmas time. I have a Christmas album that I'm promoting right now.
But next year I will be releasing and doing a whole big old thing with my Christmas album. Um, but so stay tuned for that. Join me here tomorrow. Um, I want to say at 7 I'll be going live, and yeah, we gonna make some music and have some fun, and that's all I got. Until next time, I love you. Peace.